Jesus, where's my bottle? All right, hey, we're live. Look at this. Kaya Koko is here. Miss Kinky Karma is here. Look at these lovely people. And it's Saturday, and we're doing the Love Doctor live stream. There's people tuning in. Welcome very much to the show. I am the Love Doctor. I have the fantastic Miss Kinky Koko. What the fuck am I doing?
This is what happens
K's.
when
K's are not a good thing.
Makes a love child. That's how it's gonna be named.
It'd be a very pretty child.
Yes.
A very, very pretty child. That's beautiful, graceful, gorgeous, smiling and happy, beautiful. It is the fantastic Miss Kinky Karma, the wonderful Kaya Koko. They are here. There's again, K is very much, it's something we got to be careful with. 4K is okay. 3K is not so good.
I know.
The two racialized people, right?
Notice the irony.
It's okay because it's us.
Yes, yes. Welcome, everybody. Tell us where you're watching from. I'm about to pour a drink. We're not on Twitch today because we scaled back a little bit. So we got Denny Leger is here with his little cat form. Welcome, Denny. We're here. I'm pouring a drink. What are you two drinking tonight?
I am on cider. So this is a Cidre La Croix. This is going to be rosé. And I have another one that is watermelon and basil that is waiting for me once my drink is done.
Watermelon and basil. That sounds
cider. It's weird. It's weird.
That sounds yummy.
Good.
A friend gave me a pear cider.
Those are good.
So that was an interesting thing to have to drink. Welcome again, everybody who's tuning in. We have less people tuning in right away because we're not on a regular night. Plus, it's past 9 o'clock and people can be outside. So we have some struggles that's here. Denis Leger says, I'm watching from his bedroom in Montreal, which doesn't make it creepy at all.
No, it is the best place to watch those types of shows. Pretty ladies, pretty men in a bedroom. I mean, it does give to the imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't judge.
I think I was just called pretty. There's look at me blush. There's all right. We have
I mean, it's not a show if I don't make you blush at least once when I'm here. It's like
why is it that I'm so easy to make blush? It's just, do either of you have a theory on that? So while people are tuning in and they're telling us where they're watching from and what they're drinking, what was that?
You're Irish.
I'm Irish. He's the blushy side of pale. That's what he is.
I mean, you're a redhead, so I mean.
Can't tell. I had my first haircut in a salon for over a year, since like February 2020.
Damn.
And I just excuse me. Somehow got a mustache hair in there. It's sort of like I had been going down. It's like,
are you sure it was a mustache here?
Pretty certain, unless that flicked it forward. Because I've brushed my teeth several times since I've last had the pleasure of pleasuring. What? Wait, hold it. That was just probably maybe a little too much details. Welcome everybody who's tuning in.
Hey, it's Saturday. We can. It's not a school night.
I thought the screen froze for a second. I was like, oh, shit.
No, it did not. It just broke his brain 4 minutes in.
Just froze my brain. All right.
I just cracked his brain 4 minutes in.
The brain is hacked. We have some questions. There's some questions lining up. By the way, if you want to ask any questions, you can either drop them into the chat and we will answer your questions about love, sex, and relationships. Or if you are feeling nervous, I need to update this just a second. If you're feeling nervous, you can always go to slido.com or sli.do and enter the event code of TLD57, because this is the Love Doctor live stream number 57. So TLD, the Love Doctor 57, and that will be allowing you to put in anonymous questions. And since some people have already figured that out, we have some questions there. Do either of you two have any news to give out for this week? Do you?
Well, I have gossip.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Gossip always smacks. I'm not a fan of gossip because gossip always sort of smacks of
No,
non-consent.
it's fun gossip. And
Oh,
the
right.
reason why I'm saying it's gossip, there were talks. There are alleged talks between me and someone that is very, very dear to me that we might or might not do some very interesting shows and very interesting concepts once everything reopens.
Oh.
So that is good gossip. Now,
So-
who is it? Where? What? We'll have to wait and see.
And the elevation into being a producer. Congratulations.
Yeah.
She seems less excited by that part.
No,
All right.
more scared more than I'm excited. I mean, it's fun, and I mean the person with whom I'm going to be is amazing as well. She's done other amazing shows that I've performed in. So yes, you can actually do your math, guys. But yeah, it's a whole new challenge, and I cannot wait. I just hope we're able to like have our vision out and do what we want. So
Fantastic. And Kaya is also a producer. So if you ever need producing advice, you can go to the fantastic Kaya Koko.
I will.
Or
I need to cast you one day.
As long as it's physical, my friend,
Yeah.
I am open for bookings.
Yeah, once it's possible to make it physical, it's gonna happen.
Can't wait,
boom.
honestly.
All right. We've got a production connection has happened here, and we have some question. Let's take a look at what's on the go. Of course, we start at the bottom. All right. Do you need to ask for consent to spank someone? The person in the hot seat is the fantastic Miss Kinky Karma.
Well, if you want to end up with an assault charge, I think it's a good idea to ask for consent first.
Boom.
I mean,
Sorry, you have more to add? No.
no.
I agree with what Kinky said. But I mean, if let's say it's your partner and you've discussed it before and you've agreed that you don't have to ask it every time, then go ahead, I guess. But if that person says, okay, can you like maybe stop spanking me when we're at McDonald's? You should stop that, you know? Or stop spanking me when we're in a church, you know?
Why do I feel you're speaking from experience?
Sorry. As a
This
Catholic,
happened. My ex goes to my ass in a church, and my uncle's right behind us too. So it just, I told him, let's not do that again, please. Thank you. My uncle already hates you.
all right. There's obviously a lot of contextualization that should be there, but no, you never spank anyone unawares without consent, or at least a pre-discussion of some level, which that is implied consent. During the act, like if somebody's hidden from behind and they bring a hand in and you don't like it, then say so right away. Like if you don't want it to everything else to stop, then don't let everything else stop. Just don't spank me when you do that. You don't need to stop everything. Or if it's that much of a groundbreaker for you, or if they continue after you've said stop, then you stop all the activity. That's the take on that. But spanking. All right.
Spanking in a church.
Look at the size of that palm. All right. I know not. You know what? In a church, it could be the right place. I'm not gonna.
Only if it's by
I've done
a
worse than a church,
sexy
guys.
priest.
I've done worse than a church, and I am not afraid. I am not ashamed.
I'm so proud of you. I am.
Miss Kinky Karma has done worse than a church, and Kaya Koko is referencing Fleabag. So it's all. Oh, you were just making sure we're getting the proper things in there.
Just to be clear, consensually with a priest, not not
Yeah.
like the other way where, you know, when
That's-
Catholic priests are a little sus.
Let's keep things consensual.
Exactly.
All right. Barry 3D is saying McDonald's at 3 a.m. is a strange place and times. So
You don't say.
Even at 3 p.m.
even at 3 p.m. Let's face it, McDonald's is just sort of strange in general.
Actually, it's not 3 p.m. The weirdest people, because I worked at McDonald's, the weirdest situations was in between 4:45 and 5 o'clock in the morning, because that's when the menu shifts. And usually everybody that went clubbing like are gone, like the clubbers, the strippers and whatnot, they're all gone usually at that time. So it's really like the creepy ass people that would like ask for filet o fish at 4:45, at 4:54, like wanting a filet o fish, and me being like, no, we don't have sat, sir, but do you want some eggs?
Oh God. Okay,
Those
so
are
those
weird.
are like the peak hours.
Yeah.
You're a hero.
Winfred is saying hi from Ghana. So welcome, Winfred.
Hi.
I like
For-
the
for checking
profile
out the show.
picture.
Is that guns? He's all right. Nice.
I'm like,
Okay.
we love
that's an immediate swipe left for me whenever I see somebody like on Tinder who's got a weapon. All right, no, I don't need to know how the relationship will end.
For me, it's a fish.
And I will end. For you, it's a fish. And so this. Okay, you mentioned filet of fish and a fish. I have alcohol may have been involved, but I've been in a McDonald's and asked for a McSwim, only to completely confuse someone. And made me feel bad that they felt we don't have a McSwim on the menu. So,
They should change that name.
I know, like it's McSwim would put it in gear with everything else.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck is filet o fish?
It's a filet de poisson. But the guy, I don't know if he was French or English or both languages were like mixed up in his brain.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it's on the English menu. It's a filet o fish.
It's a filet fish. Oh, okay.
All right, so
I'm French.
yeah, filet o poisson. But the thing is, let's sorry, I'm not to insult McDonald's any more than they've insulted us and our taste buds. They're calling it a filet, and it's really.
And you don't even know if it's fish, man. It doesn't smell like fish.
All right. By the way, the comments of all the experts on the panel are their own comments. The channel is not represented. All right. No, never mind. Let's get to the next question.
We're gonna get sued.
So how do I make it more spicy in the bedroom? By the way, you can always enter your questions in the chat, or you can go to slido.com. How do I make it more spicy in the bedroom? Don't use real spices. First off, do not. No. I mean, I don't want to yuck anyone's yum who's got like a food fetish, but no, you don't want to go in there with Frank's Red Hot. Just dip. No, because there's certain things you shouldn't go like that. How to make it more spicy is communicate. Find out what pushes things with your partner, and play with those boundaries consensually, and at the same time, like, tell them what your fantasies are. You have to be a little bit vulnerable with your partner if you're going to be honest and say, I would really like this. Can we indulge in that a little bit or something similar while we're going? And, that would be a good time to tell somebody, yeah, you can do all of that. Just don't spank me if you're not interested in being spanked. All right. Kinky.
Toys. Go to a sex shop with your partner.
All right. I was thinking Buzz Lightyear for a moment.
That too. I mean, if you guys are.
By the way, that sounds like the name of a good sex toy, doesn't it? Buzz Lightyear.
I'm sure it's a sex toy somewhere.
Everything that you two said, watch porn together maybe to get some ideas. That can be really hot. Do some role play too. I know some people that really like that. And also, I mean, I'd say once it's safe, visiting a strip club or a sex club could be really fun. And when you get back home, it really helps to spice things up. So those are a few of my suggestions if you want to liven it up a little bit.
Boom. Is this maybe a bad time.
It's never a bad time.
I burlesque is a fantastic art form, and I love burlesque. But more basic strip clubs kind of just leave me feeling sad.
Hey.
It depends on the strip club. I mean, I was fortunate enough for my first experience to go to Wanda's, and it's a very nice place. I think there are some clubs that are overrated, and more than just like basic, I would find.
Well, as someone who was a stripper for 2 years, I will say that everyone who leaves my care is always happy. So I don't know what you're talking about, Paul. The love doctor. Sorry, I confused you with someone.
Sorry.
I know.
Like,
what is that name?
Wow, that was just a little bit of subtle aggression that was thrown.
Oh yeah, shots were fired.
I'm just saying, I may have helped a lot of couples in the past.
Boom. The next question is, what was your worst date? What was your worst date? Kaya, you are in the hot seat.
Probably the one.
If this involves a strip club, you're gonna.
I wish it did. Honestly, I would have enjoyed that a lot more. But I would say probably the one where we went to a fucking sports bar. Because I don't fucking like sports. Like, do you see me? Do you think I ever went to fucking gym class? Okay, this person didn't give a fuck. I skipped gym class more than I skipped math class in high school. And this freaking guy, first of all, is 18 and he was 32, which is already a red flag, okay? Because this person was, anyway, that's another story. But he was like, want to go watch the game with me? Like, he doesn't even consider anything that I like, right? And I'm 18 and, like, dumb. So I'm like, okay. So I'm there, bored out of my fucking mind. And anyways, let's just say, at the end of the night, I fell into a mountain of snow from, like, the waist down. That's another story, okay? And I also ended up meeting his parents and his cat. He still lived at home. So anyways, it was horrible. There's a lot of things that happened in between that, but it was just the worst. But I think the worst part of all of it was the sports bar. Like, don't fucking bring me to a sports bar. So yeah, that was my worst one.
But all right, can we just discuss a little bit about that date just right now? First off, 32, you were 18.
18.
I look, May, December romances can happen.
Yeah.
But at that time, did you feel that because he was older, you were more mature because you were attracting an older man? Because that's something that I've had kind of explained to me by other people. Like I've chatted with and had that discussion with.
Mm-hmm.
But your comment?
Well, that was a problem. Ever since a young age, when I was a teenager, even before 18, and this is very problematic, I wasn't getting attention from guys my age, and I was getting attention from older men. So then I started to think, wow, this is where I can seek validation from. So then I said, oh, older men are like the ones who respect me, even though they obviously didn't. They're fucking predators. So then it became like, oh, this is the only place where I can get some form of validation and comfort, you know? So it wasn't just a question of maturity. I think being an only child was also a thing where I was like, oh, like maybe I'm a bit more mature, but it wasn't to feel more mature. It was more because I felt validated by older men.
Can I do a follow-up question on that?
Yes.
Go right ahead. That's why I put it in the 3 window. Yeah.
Were you considered as a kid very mature for your age?
Yeah.
Did it like give you social anxiety, so you had issues just having some contacts with people your own age because you found them to be completely frivolous, because you had to deal things that you were not supposed to deal with at the age that you had?
Definitely.
That's why you connected even more with the older guy, because for some fucked up reason
But the older guy was also still living at home, and so he was not as mature as his age would indicate, as you'd expect.
But still, like, perhaps he was immature for a 30-year-old, but he had the maturity of a 20-ish-year-old, and you, even though you're 18, you had the maturity of a 20-something-year-old. So it kind of balanced it out in a very creepy and very weird way.
Yes.
Trauma.
Absolutely. Yes. He also put up this front at first that he was mature, right?
Yeah.
So then after. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not talking about only that guy, especially since you're telling me that you had that tendency with older men and men and not man. So, because I mean, I've also been told that I was way older beyond my years because of way too much trauma, and I was only able to relate to adult people and not just men, but like I always had adult friends, and like, oh, and behold, now I'm 30 and I'm like, I'm the old friend.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Everything you said, spot on.
Thanks, TikTok.
I also went through the same thing. Through the majority of the longest relationship I had in high school was with somebody who was in university, right? And there, I was always considered to be very mature, and I've always, had, I was the young friend among the older group, for the most part.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it had its own trauma. I always find those predator types, the guys who, like, in the movie Dazed and Confused. It's not Owen Wilson. Who? Maybe. What's his name? Neither of you have seen Dazed and
I've
Confused.
seen The Commitment. But I have not seen that movie.
In the movie Dazed and Confused, there's Matthew McConaughey, his first movie role.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and part of it was he was an older guy that hung out with high school people, and he actually, like, that's where his catchphrase, all right, comes from, is from that. I'm sorry I did that with an Irish accent, but that's why I'm stuck. But his line from that is he says, that's what I like about high school girls. I keep getting older, but they stay the same age. Right? That's that kind of. I always call those people Star Trek fans, because they want to boldly go where no one has gone before, not to offend any real Star Trek fans.
Yeah, but
they want everything in the original packaging. It's a very nerd niche kind of thing. It's just as a
Kinky and I are like, yeah,
like that, and the famous phrase in the Black community, age ain't nothing but a number, and you're like, no,
that's
that
not
is
just
wrong.
Look, I am gonna say, because I've dated mainly people my age or older, or within 3 years or so, but I have dated somebody who is significantly younger. But we did have a fairly solid connection based on respect. And this person was in their late 20s when I was dating them. So there is that kind of difference. And I felt guilty as hell for a long time. And I'd like to point out I was pursued too. So it wasn't me praying. Just say, laugh it up, Kinky. Laugh it up. Go ahead. I saw that smile get over the eye roll.
All I'm gonna say is I know some friends that do pursue older men. So I mean, yeah. So I completely believe you. In a sense, it's actually the roll eyes. Actually, like a few faces that I see rolling around, and I'm like, yep.
All right, so I'm not the one that's guilty on this one. All right, good. All right.
No, I think that age gaps can be okay, but the problem is I completely understand anyone who's younger who pursues older people, it makes a lot of sense. You think, oh, this person has a lot of experience, they might be more caring, more mature, blah, blah. My problem is older people who specifically target younger people, and they're like, oh, yeah, young skin.
I just made it sound like you wanted to wear it.
Yeah. I think the issue is not necessarily the age, but the power dynamic. dynamics, because
Exactly.
when those guys,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they love older women, they love younger women, but they could also make do with women their age if they're able to control them.
Yeah.
If there is a distinct power balance between, because I mean, let's face it, this is one of the main reasons why in some cases, and I'm going to say in some cases, and please add some water to this wine that I'm going to give you guys, the biggest reasons why you would have people searching either for someone older or someone younger is because of the power dynamic that is going to take place. Either because you want to have a more dominant role, because you're more mature, so you're more nurturing, kind of like a mommy or daddy dom, or if you're a child and you want to have that sort of authority telling you exactly what you need to do and what you need to hear, kind of like a little in a dom and king society.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always about the power dynamics, but just like when it comes to kink, you need to make sure that consent is there at all times, because one of the two parties can actually take advantage of the other one, and I mean, we always talk about the creeper guy, but there is also the, I don't want to say the creeper girl, but I mean the creeper girl that does that and actually blackmails the dude or the
Mm-hmm.
dudette.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always this power dynamic that you need to understand and comprehend, and as soon as you get that and you understand, I think that's a better way to navigate through this, because I mean, I love older men as well, and I mean,
We do have a timely question coming in. We haven't finished with the first question. We're going to get back to that, but this question about age gaps is this discussion about age gaps, I think, is fascinating, especially since it generated the question: is how much older is acceptable?
Sorry.
To you, and why? And he just got called cute, and I believe that's my manager's agent.
Look, I call a spade a spade. I am actually very, very, very confused, because I am a history junkie, if you guys didn't know. And what we consider as pedophilia is actually not pedophilia, it's actually hebophilia, which is not the same thing. So basically, pedophilia, infantophiles is when you're like 0 and younger. And yes, there are cases of that. And then from I think 6, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ko, because I think you're more knowledgeable than me, until like prepubescent, that's where you get the pedophilia. But once you start being pre-adolescent, that's where hebophilia comes in. One of the best example is 18 and barely legal. This is hebophilia, guys.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you look at ancient Greece and if you look at other ancient places, hebophilia was accepted in society in a sense where the adults was actually doing sexual education of the younger people. And that's how the whole sexual education, consent in which you could have in Greece, was created. So, and I think the only line that was drawn and throughout history was they had to have their first period. Like that's like younger than that, even though they would get married, they wouldn't actually enter sexuality until then. So that's why I'm actually very, very confused, because unfortunately age is nothing but a number. It is a construct that society puts in. I mean, there is a reason why 18 years is the adult age. It's because technically at 18 you're supposed to be done your whole school. That's the reason why the age of majority is 18. So it's all about power dynamics at this point. It's like, do you have a power dynamic with that person? Yes. Okay. Is it acknowledgeable? Is it something that you can you level the playing field? If you can't level the playing field, then don't. Don't.
Yeah.
Just like a coach would have the same years or younger than his their mentors, you wouldn't do that, because you have a power authority over them, and they cannot say no. Just like stars and celebrities. I mean, there is a power dynamic that you should take under consideration, whether or not the person you're going to sleep with is the same age as you or even older than you. So that's why I'm kind of confused when it comes to what's the gap that is
acceptable.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Sorry for breaking your guys' brains, but
no, it's true. I mean, I find it's difficult to quantify and give an exact number. I mean, I have been with people who are 20 years older and I'm 22. And if anything, I felt like those people were a bit more immature than me at times too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a pain in the ass sometimes to be with them. Like I've been with people my age, more mature than you. But like you said, it's really difficult to quantify and to put an exact number. I mean, sometimes you can just happen to get along really well with someone who's older than you, and it
again,
just works well.
And keeping the social construct of, I mean, let's not go into pedophilia, guys. It's
No.
Let's just say the person is legal in the eyes of the law and society, and what is the acceptable number. I know that one of my friends is like, you take your age and you take out 7, you add 7, and like whatever. But
the thing is, wherever you go in society, you may get looks, even if the person is your age but looks a different age. Like I don't know if that still counts, but I used to look fairly young for my actual age, and so I dated women who were my age who felt uncomfortable in public because they got looks like they were sugar mamas with hanging out with me uh, at the same time. It's I think the only problem is when people use a single component and sort of use that to target what they like. Like I'm always uncomfortable with people who say that they are breast men or that they are ass men or whatever, because you're not dating a piece of meat, right? You're dating a real human being, and I've been with partners with a good variety of breast sizes. I don't know why I put my hands out like that, but it's yeah, it's just
For me,
I think that just improved our ratings. But the thing is, I appreciated all of their physical beauties, being with them, and that's not. It was because it was part of them, and the same thing goes with age. If somebody's targeting people because they're younger, then it's because they want somebody younger. It's not because they want that person. And the same thing goes with people who are targeting, for a physical attribute as well. Like mental attributes, I think are a bit more fine because that's more closer to what the human is, if that makes sense. Kaya is thinking very heavily on what I'm thinking. Go
yes,
ahead.
because the whole ass man and boob man thing is kind of
Mm.
funny because we there's this kind of thing that we're saying that ass men are socialist and boob men are capitalist. So
No, because I did read a study. This is probably a good 10 years ago, but it stuck with me. It was uh, sorry, men who are attracted to women with larger breasts tend to be in a lower income bracket or from a lower
okay,
income bracket.
the reason I was saying it's not just a question of like breast size, just where you have an inclination towards too. But I think the whole idea, if I'm gonna apply my sociological lens, because that's my major, as some of you might know, I
And you
think the
are
thing
also
is
a
that
sex educator. Just to throw
exactly.
that out there for people watching.
Yes, I just want to
Give
say
you,
that so that no one thinks I'm talking out of my ass, okay?
which is a
But
very unique skill.
yeah, no. um, so basically, what I think is that if you look even back 10 years ago, having a big butt was seen as something that wasn't good. So you'd watch cartoons. I remember as a kid, I'd watch cartoons and the characters would say, "Does this make my butt look big? I don't like that." And it would be a bad thing. And I think the reason for the fact that big butts were not seen as desirable was due to classism and racism. Therefore, to me, anybody who is more inclined to ask is more of a socialist. And also,
Well,
just because anecdotally, all the boob men I know were like conservative trash. So I think that's another factor.
it was also though in the say the late 70s, early 80s. No, even well into the 80s. The gorgeous woman tended to be smaller breasted. Like the style icons in attractive women were smaller breasted at that time. Which if somebody was not smaller breasted at the time, they would find it hard. They had difficulty getting clothing that fit and was flattering at the same time. Again, different things fall in and out of fashion, but it comes down to the mindset of the pursuer, I believe, is whether or not they're viewing the person as a person or just a certain attribute that they find desirable, and then fuck the rest. Well, or attempt to fuck the rest. It depends on what the. I just kind of dropped a little one in there just to make a little bit of a laugh. I'm not sure. It's because I'm going to whisper close to the microphone.
Kids are supposed to be asleep at now, so we're good.
Sure, and this is according to YouTube, this is an 18+ episode. So we do that. Because we are discussing adult topics in fun and educational ways. It's just common sense, is what we're saying. Now, I guess it's my turn to say what is my worst date. Is that are we there, or do you guys want to tackle this age gap thing a little bit more?
Well, I don't have a worst date. I've been like racking my brain, so I'm gonna skip that question. So
all right, I would be the next person, so I'm gonna jump on this one. All right, I could think of these. Don't make me sound that good, but all right, there's two. Was I'll mention three. These don't make me look good at all. One,
Colin.
Oh, wow.
What?
Nothing.
Nothing. The French has came out, my friends.
All right.
It's the beer. Continue.
It's a good thing I can watch this on repeat with subtitles later.
I'll tell you after.
All right. There was a date I was on that I didn't realize I didn't ask for, but it happened. It was I had.
How can you have a date without asking for it?
Well, I had met somebody online and we had chatted quite a bit, and they knew, they had found me on Facebook and whatnot. And when I do a live show, I promote it. And so I went and I did a live show, and the person showed up at the venue. And then they wanted to monopolize my time while I'm trying to be in the headset of performing.
Oh.
And I was polite and all that because, we had a good conversation earlier than this, but this was the first time we were meeting and I'm performing. And then it was a mixed show. So there was burlesque and comedy and everything else.
Like vaudeville?
It was exactly vaudeville. The person said afterwards that they loved me up there on stage, but they couldn't handle the bad strippers. And it was like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. That's it. That's all of it. Like, first off, you brought yourself uninvited in there, expected to get in for free.
Oh.
And then, grabbed me while I'm trying to work. And no, sorry, the conversation we had, I'm glad I found out that early rather than, dating them elsewhere. Indeed. First and then going on. All right, now for more things that make me seem bad, I had met a person who was a friend of a coworker, and they had invited me out, so I thought it was a date. Only to find out that they invited two other guys out as well. With their express concern was they wouldn't have to buy any drinks for themselves. And, I just did not feel the respect and kind of left that one fairly early.
Yeah, that's not that bad, actually. That's good.
It was a disappointment.
Yeah.
Is what it was. And then there was another time I did, I don't know if you consider this a date, but sort of a hookup app kind of thing. And I went over to the person's place, and then it was obvious their hygiene was not up to my standards, and just kind of bailed quickly.
Oh God, I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Evelyn is saying at 63, the love doctor is not impartial.
Ooh.
And we got a goal from Montreal. There we are.
Nice.
So we're facing off against the hockey game. So if you watch this, you get your stats updated on the hockey game as well.
I don't give a fuck about the hockey game.
Now, are you sure Are you sure, Kiki, that you don't have an answer for that? All your dates have been perfect.
I didn't go on much dates. I mean,
Well, I mean, I added like hookup things, and first date and a date
yeah.
that I didn't know was a date.
Yeah, no. I scare guys, remember? So so the ones that do want to go out with me are a special type of weirdos, and they make sure that I have a good time.
Aw, that's so sweet. I wish I could relate.
So yeah.
Oh no, Kay is potent.
Oh.
Just actually, it was an angry face. It wasn't so much a pote.
But
Yeah,
kinda,
I'm thinking about all the dates. I'm like,
but I mean, here's the
fuck
thing.
that.
It took me a while to learn, but I've learned that someone who is charismatic and has no issues of calling bullshit out and just say exactly what you want can actually be very scary for a lot of people, including men. And I've been raised for a long time in waiting for the guys to make the first move, and well, I think guys were like taught to not really go to those and go to more demure people who don't necessarily have a big mouth. So yeah.
If I can
Here I
let out a
am.
bit of a guy secret, all right, guys, it isn't so much that they're uh they're more attracted to demure women. They're more afraid of not living up to the standards. If somebody lives life big, then they're afraid of the what is it in poker? The bets, the odds,
The
not the
bluff,
odds.
it is the odds. No,
Not it's not the odds. It's the expectation.
they don't think
The
they'd be up
stakes.
to
That's
the
the word.
stakes. Oh, okay.
All right. The stakes are too high for them. If they're afraid of being this. If it's somebody who's a bit more demure, then they're going to be kinder in letting them down. They're going to be kinder in asking for what they want, and it's going to be less of a shock to their system. Is most probably why the guys go for the demure girls.
So
Yeah.
basically, Kinky and I were too much of bad bitches for the majority of men.
I need another drink.
But that's the thing, is that when I change environment and I met my current boyfriend, he's like, why are people afraid of you? And it was a genuine question. He's like, why? I don't understand. You're like a small kitten. Okay, yeah, you have claws. Okay, yeah, you spit acid, but I mean, you're not that scary.
Where do you get your kittens? Sorry, that's. I mean, are you like? Is it like there's a Nostromo, kitten shelter that you're going to get these kittens that
No.
spit acid?
No, it's just I like kittens a lot, and this is why I like kittening, by the way. But yeah, but it's so funny because my other lover calls me a dragon, and I'm like, aren't you supposed to be afraid of dragons? She's like, nah, I'm not a prince, so I'm good. I'm a villain.
There
So
we
get
go.
yourself a villain. They're nice.
Boom.
But
I know
yeah.
it's funny. It's the macho men who are like afraid of us, but it's the little nerdy boys who love us and care for us.
Well,
Usually.
I think the machos.
Did anyone
No,
notice?
but
Did I put mix in that?
Nope.
All right.
You don't need mix with us.
Just taking a little extra sip so I can fit some mix in. I might have poured
Okay.
a strong one.
But yeah, but no, I think for me, machos hated my guts because
Yeah.
I have sort of like an opposition complex. So when you're telling me no, I'm gonna tell you lol as if.
Yeah.
And again, the very funny thing is that I had a request for a show that perhaps to start alone, and like I was like, oh yeah, I don't mind doing it, I can do it. And then like I text my boyfriend, actually I text my lover, and he's like, do you know how to do it? I'm like, no, but since when did that stop me? I'm still gonna do it. But they are scared of those, and they want to hate on you so bad. I find like the machos don't stay, they try to bring you down for some reason.
Because they adhere more to patriarchal values that put emphasis on control.
I don't
And
think so.
they can't.
I'm not. Oh, no, another goal.
Same one. I just wanted to put that up there because I'm pretty sure that Kaya just scored one there.
Well, I don't think I'm blaming patriarchy on this one. For the simple fact is that people can be control freak even though they're not like really patriarchal.
Definitely.
I mean, I've had my shares of macho girls, and honestly, they're worse than guys. So I think it's more of a matter of control more than patriarchy. Like they like to have control. They're always used to have control. They're always used to be the one that's up in front and center. So when you have someone challenge that, automatically for them, it's wrong.
That's interesting. I think it's because my experiences with women have been always very positive, even if they haven't worked out, where it hasn't been any control. I mean, as someone who dates both, you know, so I don't know.
I feel sometimes, especially right now, the words patriarchy, cultural appropriation, and racism, I feel that they have, I don't know how to say it in English, mais on dirait qu'ils ont le dos large. And it's so easy to explain or to just say, oh, it's that, when in reality, no, it's not. It's something else. I mean, yes, they can facilitate stuff, but again, it's not necessarily a macho guy. It's not patriarchy. It's his desire for control. It's the classic cis white head dude. The problem is not that he's cis head and white. The problem is that he's never been told no his whole life, and now he's been told no, and he doesn't know how to act.
But that's also, I guess I always have to see it on a macro level in general, just because that's how I tend to work. But yeah, I don't know.
Without discrediting those terms, because they are important and we need to use them. It's just that I feel that if we always use them, it kind of
devalues.
Exactly.
It's sort of like using the that person's such a Hitler, sort of devalues what a Nazi is.
The good point.
Thus it's makes these young men in South Carolina feel that it's okay to associate themselves with the term Nazi.
Exactly.
Etc. It's all right. We just want to point out here. Evlet is saying goal Montreal 2.0 or 2-0. And I was going to ask if this was football because I wasn't paying attention to sports, but nope. Ev is saying it's the hockey patriarchy.
The hockey patriarchy and whitewashes him, but it's okay.
We've got a number of questions to get to, so I don't want to spend too much time. But I at this point, where the level of the discussion is, and we're talking about the patriarchy, we are talking about, the history of wrong. Let's at least we're all in Montreal. Let's take. Evlet is apologizing for his joke because he's been called on it.
No worries.
There we are. We are living in Montreal, which is stolen land, and then the revelation of what happened in BC this past week. The finding of 215 graves of Indigenous children who were sent to a residential school, or abducted and taken to residential schools, taken away from their families in an effort to wipe out the culture of their peoples. And that is something everyone thinks about. Canada as such a nice country, but there is a very dark history.
That's what angers me, that people think this is shocking. I'm like, how long have Indigenous people been saying that there's been an ongoing genocide? Why is this a shocker?
Because history is written by the winners.
Yeah, it's written by.
But there's an amazing podcast that's called The Secret Life of Canada, the story you know and the history you don't. That is amazing. And actually, I think they're going to have a special episode on that. I really encourage people to watch it. or actually to listen to it. It's a podcast that's on CBC. They even also had modified it for history teachers to teach in schools. It's really, really cool. I think the only thing that I kind of feel sad is it's English based. And as much as I understand the stance between the Rock and the French Canadians, I feel that it could be it's a very interesting idea to look at that in that complexity. And again, like you said, Ko, in a more macro level than what we're watching right now. Because I mean, if we're looking, especially with Law 96, Law 21, we kind of see it as a microcosm where they are the majority and they're bashing on the minority, which is people that looks like me in English and stuff. But when you look at a more macro level, you actually see and understand why they act that way. And I'm not saying that I condone it, absolutely not. But knowing the history of the French Canadians and how they also had to fight to get to not be erased is actually something that I feel that is not necessarily covered enough in that series. And it's normal because, again, it's made from the English side. And again, history is made by winners, guys. So we're not necessarily going to talk about the time where you had something called Speak White when it talked about people speaking French, or the army just casually coming into Canada, to Quebec, because the French people decided that they wanted to have rights, or actually, did you guys know that the French Canadians, the FLQ and all those groups were actually affiliated with Black Panthers in the States? And this is why the book called The White Niggers of America is named that, because at that time they had so many close ties together that he felt connected. Of course, after a few years and a few decades, he retracted his saying that it's wrong. But it's all those things that I feel is left out from our province and deserve to be known. Did you guys know that French Canadians actually sheltered Black Panther people who were wanted in the States?
Yes, English Canadians did as well. It wasn't just French Canadians.
Of course, but I mean, I'm French, and I mean, I'm speaking of that term. Or actually, when it came to the Concordia riots as well, we tend to forget what the French brought to the Black syndicates and the Black associations that wanted to have recognition. So I hope perhaps they would hear me and be like, hey, let's look at that. But yeah, our history here is way more complex than we think, actually.
There is one thing that I kind of glommed onto in my readings of the history of Quebec. After France wrote off Quebec and the English took it over, a lot of the businesses and a lot of the land grants that came into Quebec, which stripped some people of their land, yes, were held by the Scots. And when the Scots ran a lot of the business, and I know I'm saying this in general terms, and I'm using an ethnicity and saying that they did this, and they did it with a lot of the power of the English government. But when the French began to organize and ask for rights, it was around the same time as the potato famine. And so the Scots arranged to have a lot of the Irish come to Quebec. And then they told the Quebec Workers Associations, saying, we'd like to give you a raise and all that, but these Irish will work for cheaper. And so they sat on the mountain counting their money and let the Irish fight the French.
Yep.
And that is a huge part of the history of this province that gets forgotten. Another thing, Dorchester, which was a very famous and long street in Montreal, was named that because of, believe it or not, a Scotsman who stood up in the Canadian Parliament and enshrined the right to educate French people in the French language as part of Canadian law. And as when they could, they renamed the street that was named after him after René Lévesque, who managed to kill a woman driving a car while drunk. He's done a lot of other things.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like
But-
Johnny McDonald, who is absolutely abhorrent, and he is still on my dollar bill, or the Bay, guys, the Bay. I mean,
The bay, exactly. And
the blanket of the Bays.
The designer of the residential schools was actually a Monsignor from Quebec City. I'm trying to remember if his last name was Leblanc or something. It was a French name. He's the one who designed the Aboriginal schools.
Yeah.
And when you mentioned that the Canadian Army decided to come into Quebec, they came into Quebec because people were blowing up things and people were being killed.
Yeah, but why did they do that? However, that's the thing. It's like, that's why everything is complicated, because I understand that, yes, blowing up stuff is wrong, but also the living conditions that they had was also wrong. And again, I don't connote it, but usually what happens when people are not listened to, unfortunately, they find ways to get listened to. So
Yes.
again, I mean, I'm not saying that they were all right in doing that. I mean, yeah, they killed people, but I mean, if you take a time to look at stuff and be like, but why did you do that? That's actually very important and interesting to know, because this is why Bill 101 happened, by the way, is because it wasn't logical that the majority of French speakers didn't have as much opportunities because they didn't speak French. They didn't speak the right language. So, I mean, is it the right way? I have my reserved, but do I understand? Of course I do. Because micro level.
There was somebody came up with a unified history of Quebec that got rejected by McGill and the University of Montreal to go into the curriculum, because it addressed both sides of the issues, but neither side wants to hear an equal discussion.
Yep.
And that's something.
Trauma.
Boom.
Trauma.
Evlet is mentioning that my manager, prick, is getting older. He's having a birthday soon.
Oh my god, I will so not buy him chocolate. That prick.
Yeah. Ugh, the fucking Gemini.
I will so not buy him a drink when I can.
All right, getting on to the next question is, how do you feel about dating apps? Dating apps. Oh, I think we may have just lost Kaya.
No, I think she's making herself another drink.
I have to go charge something.
Oh.
All right, charging something. But Kinky, you are in the hot seat. This is a weird show. We're talking about Canadian history.
Right? From sex to Canadian history.
I'm a historic junkie, guys. I like history.
You're the historian. I'm the sociologist.
I'm also a psychologist, by the way.
We have a good...
Yep. Dating apps. I love dating apps. Dating apps are fun as long as you take the time to enter your bio and you actually read the said bios. But yeah, it's a new way of meeting people.
Boom.
Boom.
I mean, Yay!
Team?
I mean, most of my serious relationships were from dating apps, so I can't really say anything bad. No one at fucking school approaches me, so what the hell else am I supposed to do? I have to go on dating apps, right? So that I like them. They're cool. You meet people that you would never meet outside of them too, which I think is also interesting. And a lot of people are there saying, oh, but it's not organic and blah, blah, blah.
What's organic?
It's garbage. And I'm like, well, if your friend sets you up with someone, that's not organic either. I mean, it's just, who the fuck cares? Go have fun. Go swipe right, left, whatever. They're cool, okay? Sometimes. And sometimes they're also very exhausting. I can say that. Like when people ask me what things mean, and I'm like, you could have literally just Googled it. You have Google. You took the time to type this out when you could have fucking Googled it. And it would have taken you less time and you would have gotten a better fucking answer. But besides that, dating apps are pretty cool.
I don't know about this Google answer. Ever since I realized that Google is like dark and full of alternative facts, I'm like, I don't know anymore.
You know, a lot of people don't know how to. A lot of people don't
That's my
Google the
point.
right things. For sure.
That's my point.
My issue is that sometimes I'm like, look, I get paid to like teach people things, okay? And I'm like, I feel like this is an answer, like a dictionary definition that you could have looked up very easily, and then we could have a discussion on it. It just felt like, why are you demanding emotional labor when you could literally just read up on it? If we're together IRL, I'm like, cool, sure, I'll explain whatever you like. But through text, I'm like, I'm tired. I don't have time to do anything.
Evelyn was rather surprised to find out no one approaches you at bars or parties.
Not really.
One guy
I'm like,
did.
I'm so fucking hot. No, I'm kidding. I'm but like,
one guy did, and he is still with me to this day. Like, no, they don't. They're scared.
I would approach Kinky, but I'd be scared that Kinky would be like, ugh, Kaya's so ugly.
That's the worst thing. I would not do that.
I'm terrified.
Did we just make a love
women.
connection? What?
Did we? Well, we'll guess we'll have to find out on the next episode of the Love Doctor Livestream.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 which is going to be this Wednesday. That comment from Ev has already been up. You know what? I guess I might have to start reinstalling some of these dating apps. I have met.
Okay, Cupid.
Okay, Cupid. Yes.
I like Okay Cupid. Okay Cupid is fun, and
I like
it
being
has
called
the
nerds.
quizzes.
yeah, and they're kind of sort of poly friendly. So yeah, they're just like, because you have the option. The reason why I'm saying kind of sort of is you have the option, but people don't necessarily read. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the option is there, and it's actually, I've met a few people that were nice to talk to there.
Yeah. I've had a few like pretty good relationships there because you actually see people's values too, and if they align with yours, which I find is really nice. Because fuck, if I see that you're a fucking right winger, it's over. I'm not. No. Like filtering it out.
I suppose to go through the trouble and then just to peg them and leave them someplace public, that would be a bad thing. That would be a bad mark.
I have better things to do with my energy, and I'm sure you do as well.
There. All right. Yeah. Damn it! I'm gonna have to start installing these things again. We're on. Oh, we got a question in. The best dating app, farmers only. They can really plant the corn.
I think it's Christian Mingle.
Don't. Please don't.
Find God's match for you.
All right, those eyes say enough. We're moving on to the next question. Where we are. Oh, is it unattractive to want to play video games late at night?
I feel like I know who's asking this.
Oh, then you can answer. You can give him a personalized answer.
If it's who I think it is, yes, it's very unattractive. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
Okay, with a double wink. All right.
Honestly, it depends. It depends. It used to be something very unattractive that I have with my partner because my partner's a gamer, and we wouldn't have the same sleeping schedules because I am a grandmother that sleeps at 9, and he's the dude that's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and he's like, oh, I need to go to bed because I'm working at 8 in the morning. Anyways. So yes, it was very unattractive for me until we came up with a I will kiss you, wink, wink, good night before going back to my games. So it depends on how you deal with your significant other before playing video games at night. It can be not that bad.
I miss kissing people.
I miss kissing people too. I mean, yes, I have my boyfriend I can kiss, but I am desperately wanting to put my tongue into someone's mouth. But here we are.
I mean, you can call me after. When we're fully vaccinated.
Yeah. Well, no offense, Kaya. I mean, I do love you and I would love to go on a date with you because I am looking for another woman in my life. I have a lover that I want to tend to first.
Okay, no problem.
I'll tend with him and then
no worries. No
so
worries. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
I know you're not, but it's okay.
Welcome to the love connection.
No, in all seriousness though, I'm seeing someone exclusively, so it's.
Why did you make exclusive sound like a bad word? Did you hear how she did the inflection on that? I'm seeing someone exclusively.
Okay, so perhaps
you made it sound like it was a negative.
She made it sound as if it was like it, because I believe in the 80-20%. So if the relationship is 80% positive and fun, you can deal with the 80% negative. So the way she said negative. I'm not good at math. I have a boyfriend for that, okay? I have a boyfriend and a lover for that, so I don't need to deal with math. So I think the monogamy part is the minimal part that is not fun that you're dealing with. I hope.
It's mostly monogamous because of COVID.
Well, I mean, I'm monogamous because of COVID.
So, yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, again, from what I understand, by the way, guys, as of next week, we'll have a new vaccination plan and we might be able to speed up the second dose that we're going to have because the goal for the government is to have all the doses that were scheduled in September being pushed to August.
Yay!
And I have an August second dose thing, which I'm hoping to get pushed to July.
Me too. Oh, me too.
I have a September one.
I'm fat, so that was the reason why I could have my vaccine.
Young people. All right.
Yeah. Did I break your brain? I'm not that fat. I haven't. Okay.
BMI is bullshit.
Yeah, but that's the reason why I got vaccinated, okay? So yes, it's bullshit until it's time for me to get vaccinated.
You know what? If the scientific inaccuracy was to your benefit, all power to you.
And the AMC had to be like 35, and I was like 35.1. So I'm like, yes.
Federal election in September, and that's why it's being pushed up.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. That was so funny. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to go political with you guys. I watch Legault's press conference every week. And what was really funny is that there was a question regarding that, what was going to happen with the federal elections. And Arruda was like, well, it's my place. So if I think it's not safe enough, I ain't going to do it. And I think it went to the federal government. Because a month later, the we're gonna push things up actually happened.
Oh fuck!
Now I saw a headline today. I have not been able to verify it, but there's a greater percentage of people have been vaccinated at least up to the first dose in Quebec than in the UK.
Yep.
I mean, in the UK percentage-wise, it's a lot more people, but we're doing a better job of getting the rollout of vaccinations in Quebec, so power to that.
Vive Quebec!
Well, I mean, with Legault saying that if you want to have a summer, you need to get vaccinated. I mean, people listened.
I mean, a hot bitch.
I mean, it's a hot. Like the streets called my name the second the needle got on my arm.
I was like, I'm horny.
There was a mugging with a stabbing last night in Verdun.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah,
fun.
Just to go. Oh, by the way, Evlit is letting us know that the Montreal Canadiens are muffing it
again.
So it's
nice.
it's tied 2-2. There is we got all right. The curfew was actually such a fucking bad thing. Because it forced everyone to do all their activities within a certain hours. People who wanted to exercise outside late at night couldn't do it. It was just insanity. And Evlit is going, yes.
Want to hear something very funny politically wise? there are talks in the assembly and all the other parties that actually wants to have a investigation to see the legitimacy of the curfew and if it really helped. And
I
considering
wonder what the answer will be.
And considering the fiasco that happened with the schools, cannot wait to see what's going to happen.
Schools were the number 2 vector. By the way, because a past partner had the City of Montreal stats on these things. Mm-hmm. Schools were the number 2 vector. Businesses were the number 1 vector. And until they were closed, restaurants were the number 3 vector. Mm-hmm. I think they were number 1, but they got bumped down because of schools and businesses. And the thing is, he pushed to keep the schools open. Being outside, I mean, the latest data says it's like a 0.1% unless you're gathering in groups, which so many people are doing.
The reason why he kept them open and the scientific thing he did was because he said that the way the virus spread was not through aerosol. So basically, the ventilation of the schools didn't really matter, and this is why they had to keep it open, even though it didn't make sense. And then what happened is that the education ministry decided to conduct tests, and they said to the grand public that the health health director agreed to it. And what happened was there was a leak of emails that was sent to journalists saying the exact opposite, saying that the tests were bogus, the way the tests were created, it was stupid, and they did not agree to it. And then at the end, it showed that, yes, the ventilation is something that is important. This is how the virus spread, and it made sense with the offices and schools, because our schools are not the best places right now, unless you're in a private school or in the school where the minister's kids are.
Even private schools or schools, some schools went and actually did a thing where it was the students went every second day mm-hmm. instead, so they could cut down the sizes of classes and the number of kids there. But I mean, there's elementary schools where kids were trading masks.
My mom was working as a daycare over there, and she's like, it's stupid. It's like, she's like, okay, so I'm going to say numbers, but like understand the proportions here. She had 15 kids, right? 3 of those kids are in a class. 1 of those classes is in another class. And then you have another one in another class, and she had to keep them all separate. And she's like, I had 5 kids like on their own, trying to play with a toy, looking at the other kids and be like, why can't I play with you?
Yeah, stopping a 3-year-old from trying to hug another 3-year-old.
Well, they were primary students, so it's not so bad. Yeah. But still, my mom was like, what the fuck, guys? Really? Like, but yeah, it's actually something very interesting to see and what's going to happen. But yeah, there's a lot of corruption in our government.
Yep.
So everything is being taken out. It's funny.
Right.
Like,
on other news, water is wet.
Yes.
The game is going into overtime. Hopefully, people were tuned in at the end of the
just
game.
Like us.
We've got more questions here too, and I haven't answered the question. Is it unattractive to want to play video games late at night? You know what? Wanting and acting are 2 different things. The other thing is, what about playing video games with your partner?
Oh, fuck no.
No.
Unless it's cooking mama.
There are women who enjoy video games. I'm not going to perpetuate the stereotype that women don't like video games. So, and there's multiplayer video games, etc. So that can be, part of your evening ritual if both of you are agreeing to it and enjoying it. So it always depends on the nature of the relationship. Anytime that you are telling your partner, wait, I want to do something else, can be seen as a slight by your partner. Whether it's a video game, whether like if it's not something structured as in like I have to go to work, or I have this other obligation that I need to do only at this time, then it's something that you have control over. If you are intentionally slighting your partner to do this thing that is just a frivolous thing. I mean, I'm sorry if you're in professional esports and your team wants to practice. Fuck that. Pick another practice time when you can do it, that you're not insulting your partner. That's the thing with anything. Even with polyamory, I say you can have as many partners as you can treat respectfully and give the time that they deserve too. And that is part of having being in a relationship, is that you are agreeing to give time to your partner that they deserve and they want.
Yep.
And to do anything else is to insult them. And are you really showing love to a person if you are insulting them?
Nope.
Wise words.
So that's why I got the hat.
Yes.
The next question is, what do I do if I go through my boyfriend's phone and find he has the Feet Finder app? I'm not familiar with Feet Finder. I've got the hot seat on this one. I don't know Feet Finder, but I'm assuming it's a dating app for people who like to look at feet.
I guess so.
A foot fetish.
I don't know. It depends if it's for meeting people and if you're not in an open relationship, or if it's just something to look at foot porn. Am I coming through a little too loud? Sorry about that.
No.
If it's just to look at foot porn, it's just, as long as it is ethical porn, then I don't see the problem. If it is actually to meet and hook up with other foot fetishes, then if you are monogamous, you might want to ask them about that. I think actually the bigger breach of trust is the fact that you're going through your boyfriend's phone.
Exactly. That was gonna be my question.
Yep.
Kaya.
I think straight up any violation of boundaries is wrong. So if they're violating your boundaries, that's bad, but you're also probably violating their boundaries too right now by going through their phone. So I think that means that there needs to be a little bit more communication.
Dude.
Why are you going through their phone? Unless, I mean, you're allowed to go through their phone. I mean, my partner and I'm allowed to go through his phone, but I'm not going to do it because, I mean, nah. But yeah, no, not going through people's phone is a good ethical thing to do.
There we are. We have it. I think most people are coming down harder on the fact you're going through your boyfriend's phone than we're not the type of people to shame people for a foot fetish.
No.
You know what? There was a famous story a number of years ago, and this one is problematic. There was a person in the Canadian comedy scene who did fairly well, and was sort of at the top rung of the middle of the fame spectrum for Canadian comedians. Somebody who could headline across the country.
Okay.
And they were using that to send requests to other Canadian comedians saying, look, I'm in a scavenger hunt and I need a picture of feet. And then they would also do other ones. They do other lies to get people to send them feet pictures. And then it came out that he was a foot fetishist. And he was lying to people to get pictures of their feet and get them to do things with their feet, allegedly as auditions for his projects, or to, or for various lies that they would do to do that. And then he got called out on it. And he has since apologized, gone into therapy, and then, but he came out with a new album, I think it was last year, called Undefeated. But he spelled feet F-E, like not F-E-A-T, but F-E-E-T.
I believe in rehabilitation. I truly do. But not that type of rehabilitation.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a true sorry. If he's gone on to do that.
And like on the French side, we have like the story of Marie-Pierre Morin. I don't know if you've heard about it on the English side.
I think so.
So basically, for those who didn't know, Marie-Pierre Morin was a up and coming French Canadian actress, a French Quebecois actress that did a lot of shows. That was very very popular. And then what happened is that we had a singer that's called Safia Nolin. She's amazing, by the way. If you guys ever want to listen to French Quebec music, it's not always that great, but when it does, it's really amazing. She's one of them. And she did an Instagram post saying that she had assaulted her. Like she had bit her thigh, and she made some very racist and very sexist comments, and it blew up. She apologized, and then it was kind of like a Pandora's box of all the wrongdoings that she did. So she kind of went off the radar for like a good half a year, I guess. And then right now she's coming back saying that she has quote unquote changed. It's not her. It was she is afflicted with the addiction illness, and she's okay, and she wants to go back doing what she loves, and she should have a second chance. Note that she should have a second chance, not we should try and give her a second chance. And that's why she was again booked on other gigs. And while all of that was happening, all the other victims came forward and be like, well, I've asked agents not to work with her. So they're literally have less opportunities because of her, because they don't want to be subjected to her abuse. Kind of like your dude that decided to do a video afterwards. And I feel that, yes, you do have a second chance. It's okay to fuck up, but I feel that your second chance shouldn't be where you made your mistake. I mean, if a teacher decided to do something wrong and he paid his crimes, he pays his dues, and he wants to have a second chance, he wouldn't be allowed to go back into school. Same thing with a coach. If you're an accountant and you do a crime revolving money, you're not allowed to go back in places where you deal with money, but you're still allowed to redo and have a second chance elsewhere. So I don't know. I feel that's wrong for him to do an album after what he did, even though he apologized.
Yep. No, that's the thing. And oh shit, there was something you mentioned there. Oh, other kind of big news in the past month. Seth Rogen says he's not going to work with James Franco anymore.
Yeah. Wow.
Because of the fact that James Franco has a problematic history, and even though he considers Franco a friend, he doesn't. He thinks that he needs to get things worked out before Seth Rogen is willing to work with him again.
It is a good thing. I mean, have people. I don't want to say have people afraid again, but I mean, let's face the consequences for your action, and real consequences. It's that if you fuck up that much. I mean, I think Franco assaulted a few actresses like in the past, like, okay. And yeah, no, he's not.
I know that he's sent bad Instagram stuff and sliding into people's DMs.
I know
to minors,
I was unsure of. Yeah.
Yeah, but I know he assaulted a few people. That's what I understood. I would have to check the facts.
If he's assaulted, he should have been charged. But that's.
Yeah, but I think he pulled a Roman Polanski or something like that. But another problematic artist. Well, not necessarily that, because I mean, if Polanski goes back to the States, he won't be prosecuted. By the way.
No.
No.
Why not?
There is a time when he left, he was supposed to be, but the thing is, the charges were still pressed. But after a while, if you cannot have just and fair trial, the charges are dropped.
I love the law.
I know.
All right, we're time for the next question. Talking about the law. By the way, anyone that's watching, I'm looking at how many people are watching and how many people have pressed like, and it's less than a third. So please press like on whatever platform that you're watching.
Liking us? God damn it!
And feel free to ask your questions in the chat, or say hello, or tell us what you're drinking. And our next question that we have here: have you ever dated someone during a gender transition, and would you consider it? Is the question. And the first person in the hot seat is, of course, Miss Kinky Karma.
I'm going to say I don't know, simply because I have not been in that situation. Um, and it's not because I don't see myself necessarily as trans. Is it problematic? Yes, of course, because it's not a definite yes, but it's not a definite no either. It's just that there are so many factors that needs to be involved, and to take under consideration, that I couldn't necessarily have an answer to give. Would I consider it? Well, yeah, depending on the person, but it hasn't happened, so I can't say yes or no.
Which I think is an honest answer and very similar to my own. It depends on the person. I'm attracted to people, not genders. I mean, I do skew more towards being attracted to feminine people. And so, again, it depends on the person. I do not rule it out just because they are transitioning.
Mm.
Kaya.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, it isn't the same. I haven't been with anyone who's transitioning, but I've been with non-binary people a lot. I'm also non-binary, so that's another thing. And I don't see why it would stop me. I'm attracted to everyone.
Yeah,
So.
but I think, and I know it's shallow, and I know that I need to unpack that, but it's just that yes, I'm bisexual. I am part of the old school where, like, you're not pan, like, the pan word wasn't a thing back when I was exploring my sexuality.
I call myself bi too,
I'm
but
a
I'm
bi
attracted
person.
to all gender.
Yeah, but there's this biphobia-ish thingy about saying that I'm transphobic because I rather describe myself as bi more than pan, and I'm like, no, because I've been describing myself as bi all my life, for fuck's sake. Can I? Anyways, that's another topic. It's just that when I know and I think that I'm gonna have something to eat, well, something to lick. It's kind of a surprise when I see, in reality, it's not a kitty, it's a hot dog. And it's not that I don't like the hot dog. I like a hot dog. But if I was expecting a pussy,
I
if I
think,
was
though, by
expecting
the
a
time you
cat,
get to
I'd be
that
like,
point, the discussion should have happened.
exactly. But that's why I'm like, I don't know, because I know that some of them don't necessarily want to disclose until it's time. So I don't know how I'm gonna react.
But I'm curious as to
Depending on the
why it would be a
situation.
problem, right?
I don't I would see it as and it's very selfish, but I would see it kind of like something that I did wrong if you don't feel comfortable enough to tell me before doing the act.
Mm-hmm.
Um then yes, it's definitely something that I must have done wrong, because I mean, I feel that I'm a pretty much safe person, and if you didn't want to disclose until I rip your clothes off and you're ripping my clothes off, clearly there is a problem. Something got lost in translation versus like having that conversation before it happened. See what I mean? So that's why I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna react. I don't know if I'm able to do that. It's just, I'm expecting to eat animal. I'm not gonna eat a hot dog.
I'm like, I like surprises. I'll take what I can get, you know? Beggars can't be choosers. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I'm not a beggar.
I have a lot of choices.
I am not a beggar, so that's good.
No.
If you're with somebody who turns you on, right, and there's definitely a mutual attraction thing happening, like, what would
it wouldn't be a turn
I
off.
think of the fact that you're saying that the fact that it wasn't disclosed beforehand would be the hiccup, and yeah,
it's like, and again, I don't think it would be a turn off ish, but it would definitely be an awkward situation where I'd be like, and I don't know how I would react. I don't think I'd be angry. I think I'd be more like, well, should I have known, I would have put a tongue ring, perhaps, but or not. But yeah,
I had a very interesting discussion, thanks to a dating app. This was a while ago. It might have been OkCupid, with somebody who was transitioning to a man, and they had the top surgery was done. They appeared fairly masculine, but they approached me via this app, and we had the discussion, and they were definitely interesting, but distance, I think, at that point was an issue.
Mhm.
And yeah, no, there was something there.
Mhm.
I would, if it came to dating them, I would probably date them. Probably confuse the fuck out of people a little
Yeah, but that's funny. I like confusing people. I just don't like to be confused. Ish.
bit. Ish.
Ish. I like being confused, but not necessarily when I don't expect it.
There's weird things too that the hormones do to people who are in the process of transitioning. It's medical. It's part of the process. I'm not trying to shame when I say that, but it does change the body as well.
Yeah, I mean it's to be expected,
I mean,
and
it's part of it, part of adapting to the body that they feel they should have been born with, that they deserve.
I don't know. I just don't see why I would care, because I'm attracted to all people of all genders. So I'm like, why would I care if someone's trans? Like, for me personally, I'm just like, okay, well.
oh no, I mean let's say
Variety.
the person discloses, I'm like, yay, okay, I'm actually unfortunately gonna be like, okay, well, what's in your pants? Okay, cool, that's great, and I keep it pushing because I don't know, that's just how I am, but when I am in a mindset of dating a woman, my mindset is completely different than being with a guy, and it's not how they look, more of what's in their pants, because I feel that I'm more of a submissive person when it comes to someone with a vagina.
Mhm.
So if I come in with a dom energy and you have a vagina, my the brain does like and I don't understand what's going on.
Or even a mask presenting
Yeah.
person who's transitioning to be a man, that top surgery's done, all that, then you feel like being more of a top, and then you find out, or more of a dominant, and then you find out
Like
it'll sort of flip a couple switches in your head and have you more confused than anything
exactly.
else.
There is something such as sub or dumb space. And when something that is unexpected happen in those spaces where it confronts that space, it's not fun. And then I think that's the only way I'm able to say it, because it happened, I think, once or twice. And I'm like, I don't like that feeling where I'm supposed to come in as a dom or I'm supposed to come in as a sub, and then I'm supposed to switch. But I'm not switching because I do that as a conscious thing. I do it because it's kind of like unconscious. It's weird. It's a very weird mindset, but that's how my mindset works. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if the person's transitioning, how I'm gonna react. But I'm completely close to it. It's just I need foreplay.
At this time, I just noticed we are out of questions. If somebody wants to ask a question very quickly, we will get to it in the chat. If you care to support the channel, you can support the channel by going to the link tree down below. Linktree, so linktr.ee/Paul Everything that you donate in the next 24 hours will be divided among the three performers you're seeing on screen here and now. There is, to go into a couple. Oh, hold on. No, I should leave that down there. We don't know if it's gone into overtime, if the game has ended yet or not. We haven't heard from some of our regulars. This hasn't been the regular week, so obviously day of the week. So obviously I will be having these two performers back again in short time. But next Wednesday is going to be Winona J. Fox.
Ooh.
And let me just double check who will be with Winona. Wendy Bonbons.
Oh, nice.
Wendy Bonbons is going to be joining us from Newfoundland. And so we'll have those two, both producers as well as burlesque performers, will be joining us at this time. So please make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure that you have hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. And is there any thoughts or any questions that you would like to address, or any knowledge you want to drop at this point or add to the discussion before we're gone? Because we've only been at this for a little bit over 95 minutes, not the usual 120.
Now that things are reopening and COVID thirst will be more than real, and it will change into fever.
It's been more real for a fucking long time already. You don't realize that.
Please, 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 please use protection.
Yes. Fucking baby boom. That's just what this planet needs.
Because
fuck.
the streets will be calling our names. We're gonna go to the streets this summer. So please use protection. And get vaccinated.
Yes.
Yes.
Protect your lungs and your cooch.
Yes.
And your love rod. Since you call it cooch, I think I should use love rod. Is that? I don't know. Is it a catch?
tool.
No. There's the cooch. What is the equivalent to cooch?
I like the word brush.
The brush. All right.
Brush.
So if you're
Like
doing
when
a
you
little
want
bit
to
of
brush.
painting.
Yeah, exactly. When you brush someone and when you're actually very happy of brushing that person, you actually have paint squirting.
Isn't it gouache? Isn't that the white paint? Sorry.
Gouache.
Gouache. All right. Not gouache.
Thatcher.
It's a UA. It's UA, not AU. Right.
It's OA.
OA.
JOACHE.
I'm not a real artist.
Depends on the art that you use.
All right. So if you're out there painting, please, use protection. And go ahead, go full on Rob Ross or is it Bob Ross?
Bob.
Just paint a couple happy trees. Just a
Paint
bit of hardwood.
And
the
make
vaginal
someone
canal.
and make someone decide to do a lake.
Leaving it pooled up.
Yes.
Well, all right. Since I don't have a fan here and I'm getting a little hot under the collar, there's been no new questions that are in here. Evlet has been calling for overtime, and there's no new questions on the Slido at this point in time. I want to thank my fantastic guests, the wonderful, the fantastic, real.kaya.koko on Instagram, Kaya Koko, and the fantastic Miss.Kinky Karma, all one word, on Instagram as well. I've been the Love Doctor, and I will continue to be the Love Doctor. I don't know why I put myself in past tense. I did. I called myself. I was the Love Doctor.
You are, and you will be.
Oh, that just made it sound like I'm eternal, and I'm not. I know Marvel's coming out with that movie, but I'm not in the cast.
Marvel's coming out with Loki. I cannot wait.
June 9th, is it? Because they're doing it. They're not doing it on Fridays. They're going to be doing it on a Wednesday.
Wednesdays. I cannot wait. Like there's this TikTokers that I'm seeing, and I cannot wait to see her TikToks about that.
We've got Daniel Leger is saying thanks. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
For staying tuned in for the show. I'm the Love Doctor. This is the Love Doctor live stream. Tune in next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as I'll be here with Wendy Bun Buns and Miss Kaya Koko. Winona J. Fox at that time. I think it was the blowing of the kisses that confused me. Thank you very much, Kaya. And also it was the blend. It was Miss Kaya Koko. Just it's Miss Kinky Karma and Kaya Koko here tonight. Koko. Thank you very much. It's all those K's. I'm confused by the K's.
Too many K's.
Too many K's. Remember, I love you all.